Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I see we've got a couple people starting to roll in. I'll say hi. I'm Sarah Jamian. I run our branding and communications team here at SOCi. And I'm super excited that you're here. If you joined us last week for our intro on AI agents, so happy to have you back. If this is your first start of our series with us, please check out our on-demand session where we went really deep into answering the question on top of everybody's minds, which is what are AI agents? We'll be recording today's session too, so you can have that as a follow-up here. So while we're getting started, just to level set, we're super excited to go deeper into the use case for agents, particularly as it relates to multi-location and those really unique challenges that we all face as local marketers. So we have our CEO, Afif Khoury, here with us again today to take us through that, really talk about some of those practicalities, how agents can not only solve the challenges, but really how we might think about them as what we call a workforce multiplier. And I hope you are as excited as I am to get going. So Afif, I know we have a lot of ground to cover, so why don't you take it over? I know we've got a little bit of an intro, and that'll give us time to get a few more folks in.
Great, sure, happy to. Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Afif Khoury. I'm the founder and CEO of SOCi. I'm very excited to be doing this webinar series, and thank you again to our marketing team for all their hard work on it. As I mentioned in part one of the series, this is simply just such a great time to be in technology and to be in marketing. We're in the midst of an incredible technological revolution, and in many ways, it's going to rewrite how work gets done and how we think about and execute our own jobs. In part one, we covered the history of digital marketing as well as the evolution of AI, culminating in the current phase of AI, which is the agentic AI phase. If you haven't seen part one, as Sarah mentioned, please do go take a look at that. I think it's a great primer for everything else that we're going to be talking about and everything else that you're going to build on for your knowledge. We covered what an AI agent is, how it works, how you train it, and some of how you would use it. In today's part two, we're going to go deeper into how multi-location enterprises specifically can use AI agents. We're going to do that by first setting up the problem that we're facing and then some of the solutions that you've tried in the past and maybe why they haven't worked. And then how the AI agents can help with all that. And of course, in the end, how you can start to set yourself up to actually take advantage of those AI agents. So let me start a little bit by just telling you about me and SOCi for a moment. Now that we're moved past AI specifically into multi-location, this is really all that we do. SOCi is one of 5 startups that I'm responsible for. The other 4 are here on the screen. My wife never likes me referring to them that way, but in some ways it's true. Outside of being a father and an Uber driver to these 4, I'm a technologist at heart and have enjoyed a successful career over the past 25 years as a geneticist, an attorney, a venture capitalist, and an entrepreneur. While these items may seem quite different on paper, in reality, the common thread is the ability to use data to stay ahead of markets. In essence, I get paid to analyze shifts in markets and to deploy, frankly, hundreds of millions of dollars to build solutions that address the latest trends in technology. That segues into what we're passionate about at SOCi. So here at SOCi, we're 100% focused only on developing critical solutions for multi-location brands. For those of you who are not familiar with us, we're the proud marketing innovation partner to over 1,000 of the largest multi-location enterprises in the world, who manage more than 3 million locations on our platform. Everything that we do is centered around the incredibly unique and complex challenges that multi-location brands face in marketing across hundreds or thousands, and in some cases, tens of thousands of locations. The success that we've delivered to our partners has resulted in making us one of the fastest growing companies in America for the last 7 years. And last year, we were honored to be one of the Fast Company's most innovative companies in America. And that's leading us here. Amongst the many problems that we solve, we've had a deeper passion to change our customers' relationship with software. Our stated mission is to change how you all think about software, from a tool that you and hundreds or thousands of your locations have to walk up to and use to get things done, to a true partner that you can train to autonomously do work for you. We truly believe in this mission, and with the vast changes in AI, we've never been closer to it than now. In fact, as it relates to multi-location enterprises, no one's at the forefront of how AI can impact marketing more than we are. Trust me, my calendar is full of these types of engagements. Um, but with that, what I'd like to do is dive into part two of this series and talk a little bit directly to you on how multi-location enterprises should be thinking about preparing to use AI. So we're going to start back a little bit, especially for those of you who might have missed it, about the AI agents and how they're different from other forms of AI. Last time in our series, we explored in depth what AI agents are and what they're not. As a brief recap, unlike traditional software, AI agents can operate autonomously. That means independently. They can learn from their experiences. They can adapt their behavior over time. They really do display human-like uh, characteristics. Sorry. Agents are more than generative AI, which you're probably really used to using. You might be using it to write something or to generate images. Recall, we discussed that generative AI allows you to create something with a human prompt, but it doesn't let you perform a string of actions and workflows for you to actually get the entire work done. We discussed as an example all of these steps that it takes to manage social media and recognize that generative AI can help you with one or two of the steps, but there's an entire workflow here that requires numerous tools and numerous steps to be completed. That's where AI agents come in. They are built to take on the entire workflow from front end to give you hours back all the way to the end to drive consistent and better results. And we discussed how, in a business context, you can think of AI agents as a digital extension of your team, sort of like a new hire. You hire them for a specific role. You take them through an onboarding process. You provision them. You ramp them up until they're ready to work independently without the micromanagement. And then they work towards the goals that you set for them using the tools and the knowledge you provided and check in and report the results whenever you want them to. So they really do start to behave as a digital workforce. Okay, now that we've reset our understanding of what an AI agent is and can do, let's dive into what's unique and complex about multi-location brands and why AI agents are especially impactful for these types of enterprises. For that conversation, we're going to shift our attention a little bit to what matters, which is the consumer, and specifically how multi-location brands have to think differently about their interactions with their consumers. The way consumers discover and choose brands has changed forever. Gone are the days of the simple path to purchase. We're now in the era of empowered consumers. These are consumers who are fully in control of their purchasing decisions and interactions with the business. They literally live in the digital world. These consumers are spending 12 hours a day online. Sometimes the phone looks like it's stuck in their hands. And it's absolutely where they live and work and shop and everything else. And this is where they're most likely to interact at some critical points with your brand. Today, consumers have access to a wide variety of options and move seamlessly across the digital channels in their purchase journey. They go from search to social to reviews to ads to surveys and more, and they're doing it across dozens and sometimes hundreds of networks: Google, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Yelp. To make matters more complicated, the landscape continues to evolve with new publishers continuing to come online, like ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity. These are both AI tools as well as new ways to find things. With the average consumer experiencing 6 to 8 touch points with a brand across multiple channels before making a decision, I think you'd agree that it's imperative that your brand is visible and that it has its best foot forward across all of these channels. But it's not as simple as showing up in every channel. Frankly, that'd be hard enough. You're a multi-location brand, and your job is frankly much harder. Not only do you have to manage every channel, but to truly optimize your brand and presence, you also have to manage every channel at every location. And the journey that your consumers go through, and therefore how you need to show up, can vary sometimes drastically by location. How your customers want to interact can be influenced by their location, by the socioeconomics of the neighborhood. Someone in an affluent neighborhood may be conducting very different searches than someone in a lower socioeconomic area. Someone retired maybe wants to engage in a very different way than someone with a new family. The makeup of each neighborhood matters, especially since these types of searches and engagements are the highest converting. Consider that 76% of consumers will contact or visit a business that they find from these local searches, or that 97% of consumers use local social or reviews to discover new products. These local interactions really matter, and personalization is a huge opportunity. As you know, for multi-location brands, your local visibility is more critical than ever to your success. Local queries and local engagements are on the rise, and your local brand content found across search, social, and even in local reviews is key to your brand being visible to your target consumers. So consider some of these facts. 50% of all searches have local intent. In other words, they're looking because they want to buy. Of all the content on social media, the most engaged posts are those that are localized to a specific area or local community. So while your corporate content is great, and certainly better than nothing, the engagement levels are 67% higher when you actually localize that content. Finally, your consumers not only read reviews, but 98% of them say that their purchase decisions are influenced by them. In short, how you do local marketing is the new frontier of where customers will be won or lost. And unfortunately, it's not enough to be strong in just one of these areas or channels. Each channel is important on its own, as it could be where the consumer is won. But the channels are also interconnected, and how you show up in one channel could impact how you perform in another. For instance, the Google 3-pack ranking takes into account not only your local profile optimization, but your local reviews, your local page SEO, signals from your local social content and engagements, etc. And it's not just about gaining more market share with a stronger local presence. It's also about not losing market share to a competitor that's doing local marketing better than you. Ignoring these channels and engagements may not only hinder your ability to acquire new customers, but may also cost you your existing customers. In fact, brands that have ignored these channels have in some cases experienced a double-digit decline in brand loyalty in favor of other local options. And in a recent survey, 7 out of 10 consumers reported that they would abandon a brand that's not locally accessible or responsive. Put bluntly, your local visibility should be your superpower. The fact that you are in that local neighborhood with your local location, and in so many areas, should be your secret weapon to beating the competition. And yet, for some, or maybe even most multi-location brands, it's not really their superpower. In fact, in many cases, it's their kryptonite. And the ability to localize has proven to be a massive struggle. So let's look at some of the ways that brands are actually struggling here. First, search. Search has become increasingly complex, and it's always changing. On average, Google makes 20 or more changes to how search functions every single month, including ranking system adjustments. And local consumers use around 130 different unique keywords to find your business every month. All of this makes it incredibly difficult for brands to keep up with optimizations. The average business ends up being invisible in 2 out of 3 local searches. They're not showing up for those keywords, meaning that potentially 67% of your consumers that are out there searching for you don't even know that you exist. There just isn't enough time and resources to optimize every location for SEO. Beyond SEO, keeping up with social and social interactions is a never-ending battle, to the point where the average business ignores 90% of consumers' comments and questions that come in through social media, like Facebook or X or Instagram. And when businesses finally do find some time to reply to a comment or question, it's usually hours or days later. And so too much time has gone by. The responses sometimes are generic. Sometimes they might even be hurting your brand. They even have the potential to cause liability in some cases. So local locations are not really getting to this. And sometimes when they do, they're not the best suited to actually respond and carry your brand all the way through. Same with online reviews. Even though 98% of people say that they read online reviews before making a purchase, the average business doesn't respond to more than half of its local reviews. So 50% of reviews go unresponded to. Whether the review was positive or negative, this sends a message that the business is disengaged, even though we know it's likely a time and resource constraint. The overarching problem is there are more jobs to be done than there are resources to get the job done. Multi-location enterprises have hundreds or even thousands of locations. Multiply that by the number of review sites, social sites, search sites, etc. And now you might have tens of thousands of pages that need to be updated. And what you get is a massive scale, expertise, and resource problem. It's challenging to even know where to start. The result is that highly critical customer interactions are being missed. Hopefully, the crowd here on this call today is unique, but for most multi-location brands, 2 out of 3 of your locations aren't being found. 90% of your interactions are not being engaged with. Many are driving their customers to pick different options because of incorrect information. Your social pages are generally being underutilized. You're getting little to no posts or engagement. Local ads are vastly under-optimized in some cases. You're spending millions on national ads that simply aren't landing on local ears. And the worst part is that these gaps are just not only inefficiencies, they're really lost revenue. Consider for a moment how many more sales you would generate across all of your locations if you were to optimize for every one of these channels. The reality is that multi-location brands lose revenue every single day simply because there aren't enough hands to get the jobs done. Let's look at a quick example of a brand A versus brand B. The Google business profile of each location in brand A is updated by a staff member when they have the time. Some show incorrect store hours, others have low quality photos, no business description. Most customer reviews go unanswered, giving up the boost review responses that you would get from SEO if you were to respond. Local search rankings are low because pages aren't optimized for search, since no one on staff has the time or the know-how to implement relevant keywords like coffee near me. Now let's look like brand B. Brand B might be leveraging, let's say, AI to conduct local marketing at every single location. Every location has up-to-date business information. All their offerings, offering a first impression to the customers, AI automation responding to every review, positive or negative, showing engagement and providing a SEO boost. Local social content is optimized at scale to ensure a consistent brand voice and relevant topics, all to customer boost engagement. Which brand do you think is going to rank higher, get more positive reviews, do better overall? This is not really a hypothetical. Multi-location brands lose revenue every day because there aren't enough hands to get jobs done. And brands have been trying to solve this problem for the last decade. I know you all are trying. We've seen it, just maybe not in the best way. A lot of companies attempt to solve the problem by purchasing a stack of single-purpose point solutions: a search tool, a social tool, a review tool, a survey tool, an ads tool. And then they try to assign those to either a small team in-house or to a vast team of potentially untrained staff that are in charge of inventory and employees and other things, and now suddenly also have to do your social and reviews and search. Um, and when you multiply those separate tools and logins by the number of busy local managers you have, you don't actually solve the problem. You end up with low adoption, low optimization, disengaged customers, and lost revenue. Local manager, Local managers are busy enough. They don't really have time. Meanwhile, the structure has another problem. It really hinders your ability to take advantage of one of the biggest innovations of our time, which is artificial intelligence. As you know, AI needs access to all of your data and all of your workflows in order to really be effective. But with a tech stack of point solutions, your data and workflows and insights are now fragmented and in different places. We're going to come back to this point, but the point is that this simply doesn't work. And soon you'll fall incredibly behind with this type of model. So we have to change something. Before we move into what we're going to change, let's also talk about those of you that do actually have experts on staff. And on the rare occasion that you find a local manager or an in-house expert that's great at local marketing, retaining them has really become a problem. Retail sees turnover of 60% or more people. 45% of social media marketers express burnout, and hospitality has a shocking 130% retention problem or turnover problem. When great employees leave, you're going to find yourself back in a position of having to try to find somebody new to help with local marketing and doing retraining and re-ramping that person up. A single person leaving or even getting promoted to a different role is one thing, but when you multiply uh, the disruption across all your locations, the challenge becomes truly, truly hard to overcome. Okay, I think I've belabored the point. The old way of doing things will not sustain, and in fact, it's going to ultimately hurt. So, of course, you know what I'm going to say next, which is that leveraging AI can and should be the solution. Before we get there, let's acknowledge some things. The trust is the AI landscape. The problem is that AI landscape has become incredibly overwhelming. You have to start answering questions. What AI models do I need? Which AI applications should I use? Do I have to create my own model? Can I securely use it? How do I implement it? Who's going to train the model? Who's going to train my people? Many teams have experimented testing with copywriting tools, chatbots, generative AI. A few have truly integrated AI in a way that can really scale, reduce the workload, and drive business impact. As a result, marketing leaders are finding themselves stuck in an operational bottleneck rather than leading a strategic high growth function. AI is moving at an unprecedented pace, and marketing leaders know they can't afford to sit on the sidelines. The pressure to adopt is mounting, and the fear of falling behind is real. But how do you move forward? Let's start with how not to do this. This is going to be a bit of a theme here, but I'm trying to drive the point home. Although the value of local marketing is real, getting it right is challenging and important. When businesses try to cobble together a patchwork of vendors, their data ends up stuck in systems that can't talk to each other. So they never get the full picture and can't make the best decisions. Teams don't have time to go into 6 different tools and figure out where to go for what. So adoption suffers. Your data is also stuck in different systems. It's clunky, and this is an AI killer. AI needs all of the data to be smart. Frankly, giving it just part of the data makes AI a little bit dangerous. And by having a fragmented system, the other problem is that any chance you had to automate across channels is also gone because the AI now doesn't have direct access to the tools. The tools are now stuck in different systems. The real question every marketer should be asking is AI I'm using actually solving the right problems? Is it reducing complexity? Is it enabling execution at scale? Or is it just another tool adding to the chaos? The last part is really dangerous, and we need to stop that behavior. What we're building up to is that if you have the right AI in the right structure, that it could be really, really impactful. The wrong one, these are the signals. It's not reducing your workload. It's not eliminating manual tasks. It's not doing work for you autonomously. And it's not improving your KPIs. If you have these problems, then you're in an AI plateau and you need to rethink the approach. So you don't need more tools or tools with AI. Let's stop that madness. If you see someone coming at you with another point solution that has AI in it, just hit the pause button because what you do need is software that does the work for you. That's what we're going to start to talk about. That's what agents are going to represent for you. So this is the stage that we're at now. The next frontier of AI is AI agents. Recall that AI agents take things to the next step. They're not here to act as a tool for you. Instead, they're going to use the tools that you give it to get things done for you. This is a more advanced form of AI, and it is the answer of how multi-location brands will get more done faster. Done correctly, the AI agents are going to take over the work, and they're going to be an extension of your team. They're going to respond to your reviews. They're going to update your data for customers. They're going to post on social media. They're going to engage your customers and never ignore them. They're going to optimize your ads and your marketing dollars. They're going to do hundreds of hours of work 24/7 without sleep, on brand and on time. Remember that an AI agent is going to be trained by you. You're going to train them in your brand voice with your values and your mission. You're then going to clone them to be present everywhere, at every location, and they're going to be on 24/7. Once trained, They're going to analyze all your data at every single location, recommend the best actions for that location. And if you give them the proper tools, they can actually take that action for you, all autonomously. So you don't have to sit there and prompt every step. So autonomously means independently, no longer requiring humans giving your like to give them every little step. And so this gives you back and your organization back thousands of hours and a lot of time to go focus on very strategic matters, while these tasks that need to get done but aren't the best use of time for your employees can be getting done all the time by the agents. Okay, so we've established that agents are the key to getting all of this work done. But are they a reality for you and your brand and organization? To answer that, let's go back for a minute on how they work. So you might remember this from the first session, but let's discuss how AI agents work. The ultimate goal is that the AI agent literally works as humans do. If you were to define our human process, you would probably say that step one, we perceive things. We take things in. We gather information from data or sensors or other inputs. AI agents do the same. This is why the data is still king. AI needs all that data to be perceptive. If your AI doesn't have all of the data, every other part of this process is really subpar. Step two is that when we've collected all the data, we start to make decisions on what to do about it. We analyze our options and we decide on the action we want to take. AI agents use AI models to do the same thing, to analyze and recommend and make decisions. Step three is when we have our course of action decided, we then want to actually take the action. AI agents do the same thing. They use the tools to complete the tasks. But just like with humans, having the tools at its disposal is a possible limiting factor for the agents. The agents need the tools available to it. This is going to be important later as we look at how multi-location marketers can use AI agents. If the AI agent doesn't have all the tools, then it can't take the action. So if data was king, this is our queen. We need a full agentic environment that has all the data, all the AI, but also all the tools. Finally, once we've taken actions, or we as humans learn from that. Same with the AI agent. They have the same feedback loop and are going to learn and adapt about the outcomes and the mistakes. Okay, so it's clear that for the agent to truly work, it needs certain things available to it. You might remember that in part one, we made the distinction between an AI agent and agentic AI. As you may recall, the agent is a byproduct of a bigger environment, which is the agentic system. The agentic system must come in a full form with a single place where you have all of your locations, channels, data, workflows, and intelligence. And then it leverages the AI that's integrated into that system and its capabilities to take all the actions, to make all the recommendations, and to deliver the results that you want. With the agentic system, magic can happen. So let's take a closer look at what you need in order to get ready for agents and build your own agentic system. I hope at this point it's not going to be a surprise that I'm going to start here, but data is king. Without this, you might as well stop and effectively, I hate to say it, you've lost. If you don't have all of your marketing data across all the channels in one place, then you've really limited your ability to take advantage of AI. I hope you take that away from this conversation today. It's kind of like showing up to a gunfight with a butter knife. Data is the lifeblood of AI. Without data, you don't have AI. With partial data, you have less intelligent AI, which could be dangerous AI. And the data that's coming from it is coming from everywhere, from search, from social, from reviews, from ads, from surveys. All of these are places that you want to connect into a single system and bring under one roof. And so let me drive this home a little bit with maybe an example. If you're using AI in a single system or a channel, like maybe social media, then you only have the data from that platform. So let's say you're a breakfast restaurant and you've decided to post about eggs and pancakes for the last year. And then you deploy AI against that data of all of your content and how it's performed. It's going to analyze your content and the results. And what's it going to conclude? That you should post about eggs and pancakes. Let's juxtapose that against a different situation. So what happens if you plug in all of your networks and all of your data? So all the keyword analysis from search to see what people are searching for, the engagement analysis from social to see what they're engaging with, reviews to understand what people are happy with or angry about, your ads data to see what they clicked on, the chatbot data to see what they're asking, the surveys data to see how they respond. Your data now is so much more broad, and this is done at every single location. So now, when the AI looks at this, instead of posting about eggs and pancakes, the AI knows to talk about your fresh ingredients or your helpful staff or the wait times for your table or about how you don't only serve breakfast, but you also have lunch or food health measures. This is night and day intelligence relative to what you would get from AI with a limited set of data from a point solution. This data layer may be the difference between just using AI and winning. So apologies for driving at home, but hopefully I really drilled that in. The next step, once you have all that data, is unifying your tools. Remember, we had our king, now we have our queen. The reality is that you can have all the data in the world and all the analysis in the world and all the recommendations in the world, but ultimately someone has to still do the work. And if we go back several slides, as you saw, that was part of the problem. If you want the AI agent to do the work, it needs the same tools you would have needed. It needs the search update tools, the social management tools, the review response tools, the solicitation tools, the ads tools, all the same tools that you would have needed. And it's going to use these tools to create an entire workflow. These workflows is what it uses to complete the jobs over and over on time, on brand, 24/7. But here's the thing. If your tools are fragmented and in different places, well, the agent doesn't have access to them and can't use them. Expecting an agent to jump out of one system and into several other systems to take repeatable actions is not realistic. The agent wants to stay in its agentic system where all the data and tools are, and the AI in one place can then go and rinse and repeat and learn. So once again, a fragmented system is your enemy in this case, not just because of the lack of contiguous data, because of the lack of tools to complete the workflows. Okay, but once you have all the data and all the tools, then you can move on to the next step. The next step is to integrate the top AI models that will access and analyze your data to help you make the best decisions and get the work done. But also is going to help you create, generate, deploy the actions that you want. Notice I mentioned models and not model. Done correctly, you'll have different models and different AI applications embedded in your agentic system for different things. There are great models for analytics, great models for writing content, great models for images, for videos, etc. And the landscape keeps on changing. And so you want to be in an agentic system with a partner that's continuing to update and bring in the right models to do right works. These tools are game changers and will immediately boost productivity for a user, but they will also boost productivity for your AI agents. So the integration of the AI models is very, very important. Okay, well, if you have all the data, you have all the channel applications, you have all the tools, you have all the AI, well, now you can truly have agents that do the work for you. With these AI agents, you'll have the ability to get your local advisors and managers fully out of the doer seat and back into running their businesses. Imagine every location operating with the precision and skill of a seasoned local marketing team. With AI agents, that's what's possible. This is the future. This is the single most impactful way to leverage AI is to build a digital workforce that can get all of these jobs done that aren't getting done today. And like great employees, your agents will be trained and will play a vital role. The AI agents have specific skills and specific tasks and specific goals, and they're going to be responsible for delivering KPIs and insights. Your agents will be an extension of your team, trained in your vision, working for every one of your local locations to maximize its digital output and realize its potential. These are the steps that you have to take, and with the right technology partner that you can take to truly leverage AI. Let's click a little bit deeper into the role of the agents in a multi-location brand. So when it comes to local marketing, there's a lot to do, but we can really focus on three essential pillars of local marketing: reputation, social, and search. These are the core that you need to build off of. These are the first ones you want to solve for. So it would naturally follow that you need three core agents to get this work done: a reputation agent, a social agent, and a search agent. You're going to hire the reputation agent to handle everything from managing reviews, reputation analytics, review solicitation, surveys, chatbots. You're going to hire the social agent to focus on social media management, content management, analytics, engagement, post generation, discovery, boosting, etc. And then you're going to hire the search agent to take care of listing management, search optimization, analytics, and ads, as well as store locators and local pages. Taking a closer look at the reputation agent, like we just talked about, there's a lot it can do to meet the goals you set for it, but everything it works on is focused on optimizing a multi-location business's online reputation. As just one example of this, a reputation agent can monitor your online reviews 24/7 across all your locations. Then, based on the latest local data and trends, it generates personalized responses to every single review in a short period of time, not waiting days, not waiting months. You can give it the authority to post those responses right away or wait for your approval. And it's not an all or nothing either. So you could ask it to elevate certain types of negative reviews for human review, but to approve other ones that don't fit that criteria. You're always in control, and know that 100% of your online reviews will get a response. Just like any great employee, you can set the boundaries, set the rules, do the training, but then you deploy this agent at every single location to work for you 24/7. The social agent can handle a wide variety of social workflows as well, from creating social ads to responding to all of the social engagements. But everything it does revolves around elevating and automating your local social media strategy. As one example of what the social agent can do, it can analyze all of your local customer social media interactions in real time. And based on local differences and trends that it finds, it can create custom social media posts for that location, building out a localized social calendar for the month. And remember, it does this across every single location. So your posts are always optimized to get the most engagement from every single market. The last AI agent we'll take a look at is the search agent. The search agent transforms local listings management into an advanced local search strategy. Everything it does is with the goal of helping your locations consistently appear in front of the right audience while staying ahead of search algorithm changes and local market trends. By constantly analyzing data across all of the consumer touchpoints and markets, including thousands of rows of keyword data available at every single location, telling you exactly what's driving traffic to you and your competitors, um, it can generate recommendations of proven SEO and listing improvements that can then execute and deploy for you. Some examples of the recommendations might be adding or changing categories, updating long descriptions, replacing photos, updating service offerings, etc. Just like with other agents, search agents monitor all of your locations continuously, all at once, so it benefits the enterprise as a whole. So now you have these three agents, which have now been cloned 100 to 1,000 times to exist at every single one of your locations. In essence, you have a digital workforce now working for you 24/7. And just like how a team is more powerful when each member specializes and collaborates, the same is true for AI agents. They're designed to work together seamlessly, increasing their knowledge, effectiveness, and impact. To illustrate this point, I'm going to use a very simple example. So let's say your reputation agent detects a recent surge in five-star reviews at the East Miami location that all mention this Cuban sandwich. The reputation agent shares the Cuban sandwiches trend with the social agent, which then decides to use that info to populate the East Miami location's social media account with pictures and information about the delicious Cuban sandwiches. In no time, those social posts are getting a lot of likes and comments, much more engagement than typical. From there, both the reputation agent and the social agent had now verified the surge in interest around this Cuban sandwich. So they both now tell the search agent, And the search agent now has to ensure that Cuban sandwiches appear in the long description for the listing for the East Miami location, which will help even more customers discover the location, which will obviously increase revenue. And this is happening hundreds of times across all of your locations. It's just a simple example of when you have these AI agents connected to the same data set in the same agentic system, that they can work together to deliver a far greater impact across your organization. Another great thing about the AI agents is that after you hire them for a specific role and get them working at full capacity, it doesn't end there. So first, the agents don't stagnate. Based on your feedback, the impact they're driving, and the evolving business and market needs, they're continuously making improvements behind the scenes to perform better. They're always learning, always taking feedback, always getting better, and consuming more and more data. AI agents can also learn new skills at any time that you ask them to. For example, maybe your first hire is a social agent and you ask them to focus on replying to 100% of your engagements. But down the line, you're interested in trying social media ads. So long as the agent is in an agentic system that has the right tools to execute on ads, you can simply give your social agent the goal of now executing ads, and they're ready to go. They have a new skill. They're using all the same data, all the same information, and now a new tool to generate a new workflow. Another example may be at first you hire a review agent to reply to your extensive backlog of reviews and to stay ahead of review responses. Then later you decide it'd be great if you could also get new customer reviews. So then you turn on the review solicitation skill for your agent. And again, as long as it has that tool inside of its agentic system, it can now go generate a new workflow to also not only respond to reviews, but generate new ones. This is the power of the agentic system and being on a unified platform. So long as you have the data and the tools in one place, AI agents can execute a myriad of things for you. With AI agents, you're future-proofing yourself by being able to provide tools to handle almost every potential local marketing challenge. All right. AI agents are, frankly, the only way to truly scale in a manner that you as a multi-location brand needs to. They give you the ability to have a trained data scientist and a brand marketer at every single location without taking hours away from the very important jobs that your managers are doing. You're going to enhance your local visibility to help more customers find you and choose you over the competition. You're going to increase customer engagement so more customers discover and remember and trust your brand, leading to higher loyalty and more purchases. And of course, you can streamline complex workflows that once required multiple tools and experts to achieve better results in less time and with fewer resources, drastically improving cost efficiency across all your locations. Let's look at some case studies to see how this really drives home. Let's start with our friends at Kumon. This incredible brand has something like 16,000 locations. 1,600 of those are in the US, and this group wants to be found. Put simply, the local store owners and managers were not able to get around to updating their search listings, and frankly, didn't always have the experience to do it in the right way. So Kumon decided to adopt an AI agent to transform their local listing management approach and to enhance their search performance across multiple locations. The AI agents provided SEO-friendly recommendations for categories, services, descriptions, and it updated Kumon's Google pages to optimize listings and support the franchises in reaching more local customers. Results? In the first 30 days alone, the AI agents made more than 1,400 optimizations across those pages. On average, this resulted in Kumon's location rank increasing by 6 positions. The Kumon team was floored, saying a comment like, "We've never had this sort of visibility into the search optimization." Let's look at another similar example. Liberty Tax, 2,200 locations that they're going to manage. They have a team of 7. This might sound familiar. 2,200 locations, team of 7. As you can imagine, managing local results was literally impossible. As a result, they had an inconsistent listing, set of listing pages. They were getting all kinds of results. And again, everyone wants to be found locally for the top keywords. So they were also not responding to reviews, which led to bad customer experience and in many cases low reputation scores. So Liberty Tax turned on AI and AI agents to get the work done. The impact has been pretty incredible. Liberty Tax, in about 6 months into their program, has now more than 90% of their locations ranking in the Google 3-pack for high value search terms. They've also managed to not only respond to all the reviews, but have seen a massive increase in phone calls, leads, and ultimately revenue from that behavior. The AI agents transformed how they can get things done locally, and they're in the process now of exploring new skills for the agents to even further the results. Um, let's look at one more example. This time we're going to turn to property management space, where we again have a property management group that's responsible for managing dozens or hundreds of locations. In this case, it's Sunridge Management Group. They manage 150 properties or communities, representing over $1 billion in assets. Sunridge needs to make sure that the visibility and online engagement of the properties and communities is optimized at all times. But with so many locations, they struggled with keeping the online visibility and Google results where they wanted to for the communities. They also found that their busy property managers were not keeping up with the social media content and demands of 150 locations. So again, they deployed AI agents to do the work for them, and they couldn't be happier with the results. Not only did they give their property managers time back to focus on the property um, uh, and all the issues that happen on premise, but with AI agents, Sunridge is now boasting double-digit improvements across search and social media, driving more leads, more phone calls, more clicks, impressions, engagements, and more. Um, Less time spent plus better results is an incredible combination. Okay, so let's summarize what we found and learned. AI agents are not just the future, they're actually here now. They can be a true workforce multiplier for multi-location brands. But first, you have to take some critical steps. First, adopt an agentic system or platform. You need an innovation partner, someone that you believe in, someone that you think is thinking about the landscape in the right way, and that you can trust to execute this vision. Then you need to go connect all of your data into that single system. Data is king. No data, no real AI. You need every location, every channel, every network, as much as you can, into one place. No more point solutions. Then consolidate all the tools. This is the right idea, regardless of how much AI you want to leverage. It'll save you money and it'll drive more adoption and optimization, even if being used by humans. But it's also imperative if you want the agents to be able to use the tools to generate the workflows to take over the work. Then you're going to leverage AI. The landscape is moving quickly. New models are coming out every single day. You can't have one model approach. There has to be multiple models, and you want to have the best model at all times. So this comes back to having the right technology partner. Finally, you're going to deploy your agents. Be patient, train them, provision them, ramp them, um, let them go. Remember that today you're either doing nothing, very little, or asking dozens or hundreds of potentially untrained people to do one of the most important tasks in marketing. The AI agents can be an extension of your team, but you need to invest in them to get them there. This process can be made very simple, but it shouldn't be skipped. All right. Finally, I'd like to leave you with this. AI can be scary, but what's going to be scarier is not using it. You might recall this slide from part one. And if you look back, as it says here on the stat, if you look back at the Fortune 500 list from 25 years ago, more than 50% of them don't exist anymore, literally gone. These companies vanished in large part because they didn't shift with the times and with the previous inflection points. We're now at a new inflection point, and every business has to make a decision. AI is here, and it's going to separate the winners from those that fall behind. AI itself is not going to replace the employee or the organization, but the employees and the organizations that use AI are going to replace those that don't. I appreciate your time. I hope this was valuable to you. I want to thank you for being here. If you enjoyed the series, please give us a shout out on LinkedIn or on social media. Feel free to connect with me. We'd love to get your feedback. I know there's one more step in the series that's coming up, so I hope you'll join us for that. It's where we're going to introduce our agentic system and what we've been building and our capabilities and the roadmap for our agents. Sarah, I'm not sure we have a date for that yet, but if we do, let's share that with the group.
We do, yeah. And thanks so much, Afif. Everyone, if you can join us or plan to join us, our last part in this series will be on April 9th. So we're really excited to see you there. Before we all jump, I just wanted to end with maybe one or two questions. So Afif, to come back to the poll we opened at the beginning of our session, it looks like about 50% of our attendees see tracking performance across all locations as the hardest part of local marketing. And you talk about how one of the foundations to being agent ready is really data consolidation. Obviously, we're biased, and that SOCi can be a great partner to bring all of that data together into one platform. But for agents to be effective, what do they really need to know? One of the questions was, how does the agent know who are my customers? Does it need access to my customer names? Where do you start in the consolidation approach, and what kind of data is initial for early agentic success?
Yeah. When you meet your agents for the first time, I know that sounds really weird, but when you meet them for the first time and you start to train them, they should be asking you a lot of questions. They're going to learn everything about your business. They're going to learn who your core customer is. Now, in a system like ours, they're going to be pre-trained because they're out there looking at all of your stuff before you even arrive. But then, believe it or not, they're going to interview you. They want to fill the gaps. I mean, you really do want to see it almost like an employee that's really curious and needs to know everything about your business. So yes, they need to know who your ideal customers are. They don't need to necessarily know exactly the customer. I'll get back to that in a moment. What they're going to use is all of the marketing data that they have from all of the networks. So they're going to know that Jane Doe just left a review. She might also be on social media engaging with your content. They won't necessarily know that Jane Doe searched for you, but they'll know that certain people in a certain demographic searched for you, searched for these key terms. All the things I talked about earlier, because it has access to all the data in Google, in Facebook, in Instagram, in Yelp, it's going to learn all of that about every single one of your locations. Now, one of the powerful things it will ultimately be able to do is take all that information and match it to your actual customer data in your um, point of sale program, your CRM, your loyalty program. That's true magic. I think that's the next step when we have, let's say, a SOCi agent talking to a Salesforce agent and saying, "Hey, I got this person leaving this review. Is that also the person in your system?" And believe it or not, that matching will happen. But initially, the brand training will be about what you've done in the past, what you as the trainer will then tell it is really important to you and your brand, and then what it finds via all the marketing channels locally. And all that data is available to it as soon as we connect the networks. So it sounds like a lot of work. It's actually quite easy to get all that data in one place.
It is, and especially when you put it that way, it ties us well to a next question is, let's talk about management, right? We think about a traditional marketing org and some of the channels that you manage. And even when we come to some of our solutions and like bigger local marketing challenges of search versus social versus reputation, who in an organization manages the agent when they're that connected across all of the channels, and really sort of powering your marketing from a singular place?
Really good question. So you have these three agents, let's say, right? The reputation, the social, and the search agent. Um, Typically, my question would be, who would manage all of this in the organization? Typically, you have somebody responsible for either one or all of those. So there's someone that might be the director of search or the VP of social or the manager of reviews or reputation. And so that person would in essence be responsible for training and then deploying and managing and getting all the reporting from the agents. You could have another layer. Oddly enough, we have additional agents that manage our agents. We have an approval agent that goes and approves the work of all the agents. It's just an extra step of security, just in case the agent lost its way. We've got another agent that's going through all the rules and making sure that everything looks exactly as it should. You could ultimately have manager agents that are trained to manage this workforce, but initially, it's kind of like a self-driving car. I think we know it can drive itself. we still want the steering wheel. We still want to hold on to it. It's going to be us in control and somebody in your organization that's going to own the reporting and the checkup. But it's going to be really simple. You're going to come into a system like SOCi and literally ask, hey, show me what the review agent did this week. What's pending for my approval? Show me this report, show me that report. And so the interaction with the agents will be just as they are with an employee, except that that employee will be on 24/7 delivering, all sorts of goodness.
Sounds like a fantastic workflow. And in that too, when we talk about management, just another question to tie onto that, and then we'll probably follow up on the rest of these after we wrap is let's talk about the organization again, particularly when it comes to local marketing. You sometimes have the CMO overseeing the entire process, and then channel managers, and then your location managers who may or may not be marketers. How did they all work together in this new agentic system?
The agentic system you set up really needs to mirror and mimic your organization. So if you have different layers where different folks are permissioned to do different things, you need to pick an agentic system that can be malleable to fit that. So if Robert is in charge of region X and Jane is in charge of region Y, and they have different types of responsibilities, then that all needs to be reflected in who has access to do what, who has access to train the agents, who's getting the reports, who's responsible for the output. In a really good multi-location platform, that is second nature. Like those permissions are already in there because we know how complex your organizations can get and how different those reporting structures can be. So those permissionings are in there, and the AI agent understands its role. It is trained to know where it fits, who it rolls up to, who has access to it, who can train it, who cannot train it. All of those are rules that we can set as we build out the agent.
So truly agents as workforce multipliers. Um, Awesome. Everyone, thanks again for joining us today. Afif, thank you so much for taking us through this. And again, we will follow up with the recording. You can always catch session 1 on demand, and we did share that link. We have a bunch of AI content if you'd like to explore that well, and we hope you can join us in 2 weeks to dig in deeper. Thanks so much, everybody.